Welcome, aviation enthusiasts and history buffs, to Classic Duels, a captivating mini documentary series that takes you deep into the heart of the adrenaline pumping battles that unfolded in the skies during World War II. In this episode, we're mostly in the skies above Malta in 1942, and we're going to talk about the legendary dogfights between the British Supermarine Spitfire versus the Italian Macchi C.202 Folgore. The history of aerial combat between the Supermarine Spitfire and the Macchi C.202 Folgore is a fascinating chapter in the broader narrative of World War II aviation. These two very evenly matched fighter aircraft, representing the Allies and Axis powers respectively, clashed in several critical theatres of the war, most notably in the Mediterranean and North African campaigns. Here's a detailed account of their history and encounters. The Spitfire, designed by R.J. Mitchell, first flew in 1936 and entered service in 1938. Its design emphasised speed, manoeuvrability and armament, making it one of the most formidable fighters of the era. Numerous variants of the Spitfire would be produced throughout the war, with improvements in engine, power, armament and performance, and the Spitfire served in various roles including air superiority, reconnaissance and ground attack missions. The C-202 was designed by Mario Castaldi. It first flew in 1940 and entered service in 1941. It was powered by a licence-built version of the German Daimler-Benz DB601 engine, giving it excellent performance. The C-202 had fewer variants compared to the Spitfire, but saw continuous improvements in armament and systems, and the C-202 was primarily an air superiority fighter, but it also performs ground attack, reconnaissance and escort missions. One of the most notable engagements between the two aircraft occurred during the critical defence of Malta, and the island's strategic location made it a focal point for air combat. The Spitfire proved to be vital in defending Malta, as the Italian C-202s and alongside them the German Bf-109F were both superior to the Hurricane Mark IIs, which were the main aerial defence at the time. It wasn't until Spitfires were shipped over to Malta that air superiority started to shift in favour of the Allies, and the Spitfires, often flown by highly experienced pilots, were crucial in maintaining air superiority against numerically superior Axis forces, that included the C-202 Folgore. British Desert Air Force, equipped with Spitfires, encounter the C-202 frequently, and tactics would evolve, with the Spitfires often using their superior speed and climb rate to engage and disengage at will, and the deserts of North Africa were a primary battleground for the Spitfire and the C-202. The Axis forces, comprising of German and Italian units, fought against the British Commonwealth forces in a series of campaigns. The Spitfire and the C-202 would continue their rivalry as the North African campaign moved towards Tunisia, and due to increasing numbers of Spitfires, Allied air superiority gradually wore down Axis air forces. Later clashes between the Spitfire and the Folgore would occur during Operation Husky, which was the invasion of Sicily. C-202 Folgores and later Italian fighter types like the Macchi C.205 Veltro would clash with Mark V and later Mark VIII Spitfires in what proved to be a losing battle for Axis forces. The C-202 was praised for its speed and agility. It could outperform both the Hawker Hurricane and Curtiss P-40, and it could match a Mark V Spitfire. However, later Spitfire variants like the Mark IX, for example, could outperform the C-202, especially at higher altitudes. The Spitfire typically carried more effective and heavier armament compared to the C-202, which initially had only two 12.7mm machine guns, and later models had additional 7.7mm machine guns. And the Spitfire's firepower advantage would prove to be significant in dogfights. When it came to dogfighting, not only did the C-202s have a manoeuvrability advantage, but the pilots also had a health advantage too. RAF pilots would fly 3 missions a day, all while living on rationed and poor quality food and drink, and they had to deal with being attacked on the ground too. Italian pilots, on the other hand, only flew 1 or 2 missions a day, lived in way more luxurious conditions with nice quality food and drink, and they even had female companionship. Despite the stark differences in living conditions, the Spitfires managed to shoot down many Macchis. Along with excellent leadership and proven tactics, the British also had an advantage with radar. Of course, the quality of pilots played a crucial role. British and Commonwealth pilots received extensive training and support, while Italian pilots, despite often being very skilled, were sometimes hampered by less comprehensive logistical support. As the war progressed, the encounters between the Spitfire and the C-202 drove innovations in aircraft design and tactics on both sides. The Spitfire's continuous evolution in armament and engines was partly driven by the need to maintain superiority over Axis fighters like the C-202. As these newer Spitfire models were introduced, these later Spitfires would have more speed and altitude advantages, and the balance would start to shift in favour of us allies, while the Italian fighters would become hampered with production issues. The aerial combats between the Supermarine Spitfire and the Macchi C.202 Folgore is a testament to the rapid technological advancements and tactical evolutions of World War II. While the C-202 was a remarkable aircraft, it ultimately could not match the continuous improvements and superior numbers of the Spitfire. The engagements between the two aircraft highlight the critical role of air power in the Allied victories in the Mediterranean and North African campaigns, and the Spitfire's success against the C-202 contributed significantly to the Allied air superiority in these theatres, and the C-202 Folgore would prove to be just as big of a rival to the Spitfire as the Messerschmitt Bf 109. So that's it for this glimpse into epic struggles of the past. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with more riveting tales of aviation history, etc. Check out the two videos at the end, or my CD reviews, or even the playlist I've created. Cheers.